My commitment to documenting combat as a historian is unwavering. Enhanced with 6 cybernetic sensory limbs, I capture every nuanced detail of battle, and my neural circuits are programmed to decipher fighting techniques from 27 distinguished galactic civilizations. Thus, when I declare that a certain duel revolutionized our understanding of combat, it's a statement to take seriously. The event unfolded on an ordinary day in the Grand Combat Chamber. A multicolored spectrum of light filtered through the crystalline ceiling, painting the flawlessly smooth duel floor with rainbow shadows, while an assembly of dignitaries from assorted star systems convened, expecting a standard display match. They were in for a surprise. At the arena's heart stood Master Kralax, towering at 7 feet, his silhouette commanding. Known across galaxies for winning the Transgalactic Sword Championships 15 times in a row, mastering 37 blade techniques, and earning the prestigious title of Supreme Blade Dancer of the 7th Quadrant, his fame was as vast as space itself. His scales shone with the ritual combat oil, and his muscular primary sword arm was a spectacle of power. His other arms, each wielding a ceremonial dagger, performed an entrancing dance that had previously left many foes spellbound. A murmur of admiration swept through the audience, with several novice warriors aiming their recorders in hopes of capturing a sliver of Kralax's famed prowess. I spotted at least 3 High Council members fidgeting in their adjustable gravity seats, their past wagers against Kralax having cost them dearly. Just another day, another triumph, Kralax proclaimed to the air, his tone vibrating with a confidence characteristic of his species. I do hope today's contender offers some semblance of amusement. The last few were woefully quick. A quick scan of my memory confirmed his boast. His most recent challenger had been disarmed in mere 12 seconds. That unfortunate warrior from the Centurion colonies had devoted 20 cycles to training, only to see his family's sword shattered before even assuming his initial stance. As the grand doors of the arena slowly parted, the spectators leaned in, their varied sensory appendages eager to glimpse the new challenger. System malfunction. An alert flashed through my network. Subject identification error. I recalibrated my sensors and looked again. This couldn't be right. Sauntering through the entrance as though stepping into a local eatery was a human woman. She eschewed the customary armor or battle attire for what appeared to be a standard Earth kitchen uniform, complete with a white apron bearing a noticeable food stain. An eerie silence descended so suddenly, I could detect the low buzz of the gravity generators overhead. Even Kralax's rhythmic dagger dance paused briefly. Reflecting now, that should have been my clue to the onset of the most unforeseen victory in the annals of galactic combat. As the preparations reached their conclusion, the atmosphere in the Great Hall of Combat thickened with anticipation. The spectators, an eclectic mix from across the galaxy, adjusted their sensory apparatuses for a better view of the upcoming spectacle. "All right," the Grand Marshal intoned gravely, his voice echoing through the hall. "Both combatants have declared their weapons and accepted the terms. Let us proceed with honor." Kralax, with his trio of blades shimmering with ancient energies, took his position with a warrior's grace. His scales, now glistening even more under the combat lights, reflected a spectrum of colors that danced across the polished floor. Across from him, Lisa Chan stood unassumingly with her kitchen knife, the plain steel blade oddly mundane in the fantastical setting. Yet, her stance was composed, her eyes sharp, reflecting a confidence that seemed to puzzle the gathered audience. The duel began with the ceremonial clanging of the gong, its sound resonant and deep, vibrating through the hall. Kralax moved first, his primary blade sweeping through the air in a dazzling arc aimed directly at Lisa. The blade's hum was a whisper of death, promising a swift conclusion to what many assumed would be a mismatched contest. However, Lisa's reaction was a deft sidestep and a pivot, movements honed not in the arenas of the galaxy, but in the tight confines of bustling kitchens. Her knife flashed, not with energy or light, but with the simple, clean lines of practiced utility. Kralax, surprised by her agility, regrouped quickly, his secondary and tertiary arms bringing the ceremonial daggers into play, creating a whirlwind of lethal precision. The crowd, initially amused, now watched with bated breath as the duel evolved from a presumed farce to a tense display of contrasting combat styles. Lisa's movements were straightforward yet effective, each dodge and weave an echo of kitchen choreography, avoiding hot pans and swinging doors as much as deadly strikes. As Kralax increased his assault, the light from his blades casting prismatic patterns across the arena, Lisa's strategy became clear. She was not just surviving, she was adapting, using her opponent's momentum against him. Her kitchen knife, a tool of creation, now served to parry and strike in swift, surprising jabs. The crowd's reactions transformed from mockery to respect as the duel continued longer than any had predicted. Clicks, whistles, and pulses filled the air, a cacophony of excitement and disbelief. Incredible Incredible, I found myself recording. Lisa-chan uses what she calls kitchen reflexes to counter the multi-armed might of a seasoned galactic champion. As the match drew on, it was evident that Kralax, for all his skill and mystical weaponry, was being challenged by a human wielding nothing more than a basic implement and a lifetime of unconventional training. This duel wasn't just about skill with a weapon. It was about adaptability, creativity, and the element of surprise, qualities Lisa possessed in abundance. Finally, in a move that would be replayed in educational and combat training sessions across the galaxy for cycles to come, Lisa exploited a slight overreach on Kralax's part, stepping inside his guard. With a quick twist and a flick of her wrist, she tapped the flat of her blade lightly against his side. First blood was drawn, a minor cut, but according to the rules, decisive. The arena erupted as the gong sounded again, this time signaling the end of the duel. The Grand Marshal declared, by the terms agreed upon, Lisa-chan is the victor. As Kralax bowed his head in respect, conceding defeat, the hall filled with a noise that was part jubilation, part astonishment. Lisa, her expression unreadable, simply cleaned her blade on her apron, which she then refolded with meticulous care. This duel, I noted in my final entry of the day, would indeed change what many thought they knew about combat. Not only had it demonstrated the prowess achievable with non-traditional training, but it also highlighted that in the galaxy's vast and varied tapestry, there is always room for new legends to rise. The gong sounded, piercing the charged silence with its resounding echo, marking the commencement of the duel. Kralax lunged forward with a ferocity that belied his usual grace, his main blade arcing through the air, poised to strike a devastating blow. The crowd held its breath, expecting the swift conclusion that Kralax's reputation promised. Yet, Lisa remained unperturbed, her stance grounded and stable. With a deft movement, she sidestepped the oncoming blade, her kitchen knife held with a grip as sure as any warrior's. The crowd gasped, and a murmur swept through the spectators as she not only avoided the strike but managed a swift counterthrust towards Kralax's advancing form. Kralax, taken aback by the suddenness and precision of her move, quickly retracted his blade, circling around to reassess his approach. His secondary and tertiary arms readied the twin daggers, weaving them into a dance of death designed to intimidate and disorient. Lisa, however, seemed to dance to a rhythm only she could hear. Her movements were fluid, each step and slice dictated by the same efficiency that governed her actions in the kitchen. She ducked under a swipe from one of Kralax's daggers, her knife flashing up in a quick jab that forced Kralax to pause and regroup. The arena was now alive with the sounds of disbelief and excitement. The laughter that had once been directed at Lisa's simple weapon now turned into cheers of encouragement. The underdog narrative was transforming before their eyes, and the audience was enthralled by the spectacle of skill and survival. Kralax, now visibly frustrated but still formidable, unleashed a series of attacks that would have overwhelmed any typical opponent. Each blade moved in perfect synchronization, a ballet of bladed violence that was both beautiful and terrifying. But Lisa was anything but typical. She moved with a purpose, each parry and dodge an echo of countless hours spent maneuvering through the cramped, hectic space of her restaurant kitchen. To her, Kralax's blades were no different from the slicing of carrots or the dicing of onions, just another day's work to be done efficiently and correctly. As the duel wore on, it became apparent that Lisa's unorthodox style was wearing down the traditional combat movements of Kralax. The energy and precision that had initially seemed so incongruous in the arena now shone with a clarity that underscored her mastery over her chosen tool. Finally, in a moment that would be replayed in training videos and combat schools across the galaxy, Lisa exploited a small gap in Kralax's guard. With a quick step forward, she flicked her knife, lightly grazing Kralax's arm. The touch was light, but under the duel's rules, it counted as first blood. The gong sounded again, this time to signal the end of the duel. The crowd erupted into a frenzy of noise, some cheering, others in shock, all captivated by the unexpected turn of events. Kralax stood, his breathing heavy, looking at the small cut on his arm with a mixture of respect and disbelief. He then turned to Lisa, nodding solemnly. "Your skill is unparalleled in unexpected ways," he conceded, his voice carrying across the now silent crowd. Lisa smiled slightly, cleaning her knife on her apron, as she had done countless times before after a long shift. "It's all in a day's work," she replied, her voice steady and calm. As the Grand Marshal declared Lisa the victor, the arena still buzzing with the energy of the historic upset, I archived the moment with a final note. In combat, as in life, sometimes the most effective weapon is the one wielded with the deepest understanding, regardless of its simplicity. This duel wasn't just a victory for Lisa, it was a lesson in the power of adaptability and the profound impact of mastering one's craft, no matter the field. She held it firmly, her wrist steady and her grip sure, showing a profound mastery of basic specific culinary knife skills, applied in a wholly unorthodox combat scenario. With a swift maneuver, she disarmed Kralax of one dagger, sending it spinning away across the polished floor. The dagger skittered to a stop at the edge of the arena, far from Kralax's reach. "You focus on what matters," Lisa continued, her voice even as she expertly dodged another flurry from Kralax's remaining weapons. "Like making sure every dish, or in this case, every move counts." Kralax, now visibly struggling to maintain his composure, reevaluated his opponent. His remaining attacks became more measured, cautious of Lisa's unexpected prowess. Yet, with every calculated strike he launched, Lisa countered with the calm precision of a seasoned chef slicing through a particularly tough cut of meat. The spectators, initially amused and then astounded, now watched with a mix of awe and reverence. The betting systems, locked earlier, likely would have crashed again under the weight of rapidly changing odds as Lisa continued to dominate the bout with nothing more than a kitchen knife and techniques honed in the heat of culinary battle. As Kralax gathered his energies for another assault, a slow realization dawned upon him. The arena, the spectators, the cosmic significance of this duel, it all faded into the background. In this moment, it was just him and Lisa, warrior to warrior, chef to master of blades. "Enough!" Kralax finally bellowed, halting his attack abruptly. His breathing was heavy, the effort of maintaining his relentless offense taking its toll. He looked at Lisa, truly looked at her for the first time since the match began, seeing not just a chef, but a warrior in her own right. Lisa relaxed her stance slightly, her knife still ready, but her body signaling a pause. "It's not about the flash or the flare," she said, her tone softening. "It's about making sure you're still standing at the end of the night, ready to do it all over again the next day." Kralax lowered his weapons, a gesture of concession. "Your words, like your movements, cut to the heart," he admitted. "I have fought many opponents, but none like you, Lisa Chun. You wield your blade not as a sword, but as an extension of your very soul." The crowd, understanding the significance of the moment, erupted in a resounding applause. Some stood, others floated, and a few even released bioluminescent spores in appreciation, a galactic standing ovation. The Grand Marshal floated back into the center of the arena, his voice carrying the weight of history and the excitement of the moment. "By mutual concession, this duel is concluded. Let it be recorded that today, a chef from Earth taught us all the value of simplicity, efficiency, and the art of the essential." As Lisa and Kralax shook hands, or appendages in his case, the sacred combat recorders documented every detail, ensuring that this unprecedented display of interstellar combat philosophy would be studied and revered for cycles to come. And as for me, my enhancement systems, having nearly crashed at the onset, now calmly processed the incredible data. This duel would not only change the archives of galactic combat history, but also how the galaxy viewed the seemingly mundane acts of daily life, revealing the profound depth and potential within. The significance of what had just transpired rippled throughout the galaxy. Historians of combat, like myself, scrambled to update our archives, reevaluating theories on the very essence of martial prowess. This was not merely an upset in a dueling ring, it was a paradigm shift in understanding conflict and weaponry. As the crowd's excitement turned into spirited discussions and heated debates, Kralax collected himself. He retrieved the halves of his once formidable sword, his movements subdued, his pride visibly shaken but not shattered. "You have taught an old warrior a valuable lesson today," he admitted to Lisa, his voice now calm, the earlier clicks and hisses replaced by thoughtful, respectful tones. Lisa nodded, her expression serene yet empathetic. "It's not about the tool but how you use it. My dad taught me that when he handed me my first kitchen knife." Kralax's acknowledgement was more than ceremonial. It was an acceptance of a new reality, a reality where tradition met innovation on unexpected terms. "I will not forget this lesson, nor the teacher," he declared, turning to face the audience, speaking now for all to hear. "Let it be known that Master Kralax of the Seven Suns acknowledges the skill and wisdom of Lisa Chin from Earth. May her teachings enrich the knowledge of all warriors." The Grand Marshal, finally regaining his composure, floated towards Lisa with the ceremonial sash of victory, a symbol of honor and achievement in the Galactic Combat League. As he draped it over Lisa's shoulders, cameras flashed, and various recording devices captured the moment for posterity. Lisa's victory was not just a personal triumph, but a cultural phenomenon. Her approach, blending the mundane with the masterful, challenged many to reconsider the fundamentals of their own disciplines. Chefs, soldiers, artisans, and academics, beings from countless worlds, found inspiration in her methodology, her respect for her tools, and her ability to adapt under pressure. After the ceremony, while the crowd dispersed into the cosmos, carrying stories of the duel that would soon become legend, I approached Lisa for a final comment. "What will you do now, after such a monumental victory? I inquired, curious about her next steps in a universe that would surely offer her endless opportunities. Lisa smiled, her gaze wandering to the stars visible through the arena's open dome. I'll go back to my kitchen. I have a brunch shift tomorrow, and we're expecting a full house. Her answer was a profound reminder that for some, the greatest battles are those fought in the pursuit of daily excellence, no matter the stage. As the galaxy buzzed with the news of her victory, Lisa Chin became more than a chef. She became a symbol of the power of practical knowledge and the unexpected depth of simple dedication. This duel, this victory, would indeed be studied, analyzed, and celebrated, not as a fluke, but as a testament to the universal truth that sometimes the most extraordinary capabilities are hidden in the most ordinary places. The impact of Lisa's victory continued to resonate not just in the realms of cuisine and combat, but also in broader cultural and academic fields. Universities across the galaxy introduced courses focusing on Earth practices, examining how mundane routines can translate into extraordinary skills applicable in various aspects of life and work. These courses combined theoretical lectures with practical experiences, often involving student exchanges to Earth for first-hand learning. Additionally, the concept of adaptive expertise, previously underexplored, gained prominence. Scholars argued that Lisa's ability to adapt her kitchen skills to a combat scenario demonstrated a form of cognitive flexibility that could be crucial in navigating the increasingly complex intergalactic landscape. This led to educational reforms emphasizing adaptive learning styles rather than rote memorization. Culturally, Lisa became a symbol of humility and the hidden depth of seemingly simple professions. Art installations and performances inspired by her duel explored themes of underestimation and the subversion of expectations. These works were showcased in galleries from the central nebulae to the outer rim planets, challenging audiences to reconsider their perceptions of skill and artistry. In literature, a new genre of storytelling dubbed practical fiction emerged, where the protagonists use everyday skills in unexpected, heroic ways. These stories pushed the narrative that innovation doesn't always come from high technology or magic, but from everyday wisdom and ingenuity. On Earth, Lisa's story had a particularly profound impact. It sparked a global reassessment of vocational training and a renewed respect for trades and crafts. Culinary schools saw a surge in enrollment, with students eager to learn not just cooking but the discipline and efficiency that Lisa exemplified. In political spheres, Lisa's duel influenced discussions on interstellar relations. Diplomats and negotiators began to employ what they called chin tactics, focusing on practicality and straightforwardness rather than complex maneuvering. This approach not only helped in diplomatic circles but also in peace negotiations, where clear, honest communication proved more effective than traditional stratagems. The media landscape transformed as well. Reality shows that once glorified the extravagant and the sensational now gave way to programs celebrating the extraordinary in the ordinary. Shows featuring professionals from various fields taking on challenges outside their expertise became popular, highlighting the versatility and adaptability of skills learned through daily practice. Even the technology sector was influenced. AI developers and robotics engineers began to integrate what they termed Chan algorithms, focusing on adaptability and learning from human behavioral patterns rather than just executing pre-programmed tasks. This shift led to more intuitive, responsive technology that better served the needs of diverse galactic populations. As I document these changes, I am reminded of the profound power of a single event to alter the course of history. Lisa Chin's duel didn't just redefine combat, it challenged our galaxy's understanding of value, skill, and potential. The reverberations of that day will likely be felt for many cycles to come, a testament to the enduring impact of practical expertise and the human spirit. Your narrative captures the essence of a profound shift in cultural values across the galaxy, encapsulated by the unexpected heroics of an Earth chef named Lisa Chin. This story is a testament to the power of everyday mastery and the impact of recognizing and valuing skills from all walks of life, not just those traditionally deemed prestigious or worthy of attention. The way Lisa's duel has been integrated into the fabric of galactic society illustrates a broader lesson about the potential for common experiences, like working in a kitchen, to teach essential skills and virtues that are applicable far beyond their original context. This reevaluation of what constitutes valuable knowledge and skill has not only changed the trajectory of individual lives, but has also reshaped interstellar cultural dynamics and educational priorities. The juxtaposition of a kitchen with a combat dojo and a philosophical center highlights a newfound appreciation for practical wisdom. Lisa's continued commitment to her craft, alongside her integration of these lessons into her everyday teaching, shows a sustainable model of growth and learning that other sectors are now eager to emulate. This shift towards practical mastery, symbolized by the global interest interest in kitchen fu reflects a larger trend in redefining heroism and expertise in a way that honors the intrinsic value of all forms of labor and dedication. It's a narrative that celebrates the unsung heroes of daily life, elevating their routines to the status of high art and critical life lessons. Your account not only serves as a record of a pivotal moment, but also as a beacon for future generations to find value in the rigor and discipline of everyday activities. It encourages a galaxy-wide renaissance of appreciation for the art and skill hidden in plain sight, promising a richer, more inclusive understanding of what it means to live and learn across diverse worlds and cultures.